Hi guys, it's Mrs. Alberts here and welcome back to my channel. Examenlokaal deur Susan Lang. Examenlokaal exam venue. Oh dear, and we are getting ready to prepare for this one, aren't we? June exams around the corner. Here we go. We start with our title, Examenlokaal. This is the place where exams are written. It's the venue. It's also your main idea in this poem. Haar skoene klik hard op die houtvloer, soos sy op en af stap tussen rye choopstil banke. Her shoes click loudly on the wooden floor as she walks up and down between rows of quiet desks. In line 1, we have a teacher walking up and down between the learners writing exam. Her shoes are making a noise, so she's wearing heeled shoes or noisy shoes. It could be a female teacher, onderwyseres, invigilating at the exam venue. Possibly this could be an old school that still has wooden floors. This is sintuiglike waarneming because you can hear the shoes and you can see the shoes. There's klanknabootsing, onomatopoeia, in the word klik. Klik is similar to the sound the shoe will make when it hits the wooden floor. Again, it emphasizes the sound. Therefore, we have sintuiglike waarneming again. You'll see a lot of sintuiglike waarneming in this poem. Luckily, this is a short one. We've got assonance and alliteration in your first line. We've got the H in haar, hart, en houtvloer. And we've got the OE sound in skoene, houtvloer, and it also repeats in line 3 with choopstil. It shows you that there is a sustained rhythm. You can think about a teacher walking up and down in the exam venue. There's almost rhythmic, and that's what this assonance and alliteration emphasizes and causes when you read it. There's enjambment from line 1 to 3, again showing you this rhythm, this continuous rhythm. Line 2, op en af. This is referring to the teacher walking up and down, invigilating between the desks. Rye is typical how an exam venue is set up. You've got rows of desks lined up from the front of the venue to the back of the venue, and your invigilators walk through them almost in a snake-like fashion up and down. The choopstil banke is quite a loaded one, so I need you to focus on line 3. So we've got choopstil banke, which is a personification, and it's personification because desks cannot be quiet. Only people can be quiet. So we've got choopstil banke as a personification. Choopstil is also the intensive form of being still, which is quiet. And here comes a difficult one. It's called metonemia. Metonemia is referring to the desks instead of the learners. When we look at the words choopstil banke, we are not literally referring to the desks being quiet. We are referring to the learners sitting in the desk that is quiet. So your metonemia is when we refer to something large, when we are meaning something small, or when we are looking at something small meaning something large, we tend to say it's a part for the whole or a whole for the part. Metonemia and synecdoche are very similar. Metonemia shows a relationship between two things that are not of the same body. I will explain again about metonemia when we get to synecdoche, then I'll refer back to this one. So banke and learners are not the same thing, but when we look at the desks, we are referring to the students sitting in them, but we are not referring to the entire picture. Learners in the desks, we're simply mentioning the word desks. There's a contrast between this choopstil and the learners and the teacher that is making the click, which is the klanknabootsing, the onomatopoeia. So we've got sound coming from the teacher, and we've got the learners who are choopstil, who are quiet. So this contrast between the teacher making a noise and the learners who are quiet. There's also alliteration of the S sound all through this line 1 to 3. We've got skoene, soos, sy, stap, and still. It's also gives you the idea of shh. It's that I almost want to say you find a deathly quiet in an exam venue. Lots of shushes probably happening. It also emphasizes the, not fear, I'm looking for the different word. What is the word I'm looking for? The tension that you might feel, the stress you might feel in an exam venue. Nou en dan kraak die blaai van 'n blad, die September eksamen lig. Hande bewe met rukke oor skoon wit velle, losse inkwarboel agter. So now and then the turning of a page cracks the September exam air. Hands tremble with jerks over clean white pages, leaving an ink mess behind. Here we've got stanza 2 and 3 on the same slide. Now and done, it's progression. We are going from chub still to now and then hearing something. And what are we hearing? We are hearing that cracking sound of a page, a folio that you turn over, or maybe you shake it out, maybe you flatten it again or fold it. That's the sound that you hear, and it cracks, so it's making onomatopoeia. It's cracking through the silence. It's a sound you can hear above all else in that exam venue. We've got blaai van 'n blad, so it's something that you can see and it's something that you can hear. So you can see the paper, this page, and you can also hear in the klanknabootsing as they are turning this page, because everybody can identify a page being turned. Now here we've got synecdoche, because we are referring to the blad, which is the paper, instead of referring to the entire page, the entire question paper. We are simply referring to half of it, a blad. It is also a shortened version of bladsy, so it's Elisi. They've shortened it so that it fits into the rhythm, into the length of the poem. I wouldn't say rhyme because there's no rhyme here, but they've shortened that word. What is it cracking, or what is the sound going through? It's the September exam air, so it's probably your prelims. Learners are very stressed. The atmosphere is thick with stress, and that sound is something that everybody reacts to. You can hear it cracking through the silence. Again, synecdoche, hande bewe met rukke, so it focuses on the hands of the learners instead of the entire body of the learner. Now let's go back to metonemia. Both metonemia and synecdoche both refer to something small when we want to mean something big, or when we refer to something big when we want to refer to something small. We say part for the whole, or a whole for the part. And in this case, we are looking at the hand, which is a part of the learner. So we are looking at a part when we refer to the whole of the learner. So here, the learner and the hand, they are one thing. So therefore, it's synecdoche. Remember, the banke, the desks, are not part of the learner. It is two separate things. It's not one entity. And therefore, that is called metonemia. So the synecdoche here refers to the hands that tremble. Now that tremble could be the writing of the hand that you could see, or it could be also because of fear, because of stress, that the hand is shaking. Where is it shaking? It is shaking over the white pages that they are writing on. So here we've got contrast. When they begin to write, your paper is clean. And then obviously later in line 7, it leaves a inkwarboel agter. It leaves ink on the paper, ink blots on the paper. So we progress from white sheets to ink on the paper. This inkwarboele is also neologisme. It's something that they've created. It's a new word, but they leave ink blots on paper. There's a connotative betekenis, which means a figurative message. Ink blots referring to maybe facts that are incoherent, maybe it's all over the place, or denotative, which is literal. It could be that the writer of this exam is maybe writing really fast and leaving behind a very, I want to say bad handwriting, a very, I can't think of the English for net now. So it's leaving a bad handwriting behind, sorry. There's enjambment from line 4 to line 7, showing you that even though it's 2 separate stanzas, it's still one idea. It's the exam. It's from 4 to 5, that's your one enjambment, so that's one idea. And from 6 to 7, that's enjambment, that's one idea. So it's binding your ideas together. There's the neologisme, it's nuutskeppings. It refers to that word inkwarboele, which is the learners writing either very unneatly or whether they are writing facts incoherently. Oh dear, exams. Die horlosie tel 2 ure af. Sy stap stadig en oes die stelle een vir een, blou op wit, ryp met gistermiddag se kennis. The clock counts down 2 hours. She walks slowly and harvests the sets one by one, blue on white, ripe with yesterday afternoon's knowledge. Line 8 is called alleenplasing. It is a complete stanza on its own, line on its own, and it is because it's the focus of your exam. What else is more daunting than the watch counting down the time, showing you how much time you have left, especially when you are stressed? So here, time is a factor in the exam, and therefore, to emphasize, she has placed it in one line. It's also personifying the, I'm saying watch, I'm sorry, the clock, because the clock here, it says, is counting down 2 hours, and obviously a clock cannot count. We've got the S alliteration, again showing you how slowly the teacher is taking in the papers when she starts to take them in. There are 3 things that you can see in line 9. The way she's walking, the way she's taking in the papers, and you can also see that she is taking them in one by one. Now there's a metaphor in line 9, and the metaphor is that the teacher who's taking in this exam paper slowly, systematically, one by one, row by row, learner for learner, and basically gives you this idea of a farmer with a dorsch machine, I'll find the English word now, harvester, there we go, taking in the ripe papers. Now, they are referring here to ripe, meaning that when we have the metaphor of the farmer, they will only harvest ripe corn or wheat or sunflowers. So it links with line 11, so we'll talk about the ripe in a moment there. Blauw op wit, it is basically the idea of black on white. So we've got blue pens on white paper, so it refers to their knowledge being written on the paper. Everything that was written on the paper is in blue. Again, sintuiglike waarneming, we can see the blue on the white. Then we have line 11. Well, I think we're coming back to that colon in a moment. Line 11 talks about yesterday's knowledge. So possibly these learners who were so stressed and looking at the clock counting down the hours and shaking their hands and writing a little bit of a messy handwriting and incoherent facts or ideas, probably because they only studied the day before, because these papers aren't ripe with knowledge, it's ripe with yesterday's knowledge. So it shows you that they did not spend enough time studying. Yes, there's the colon. The colon emphasizes the harvest, which is the kennis, which is the knowledge. So it basically says that they are taking in these stelle, which is the papers, one by one. There's blue on white. Now the colon says, let me explain what is the blue on white, what is being taken in, and then it says this blue on white is the papers ripe with yesterday's knowledge. And there we have just a little picture of a harvester. This was a quick and easy one, and I think we can all relate to this poem because we all have done either the walking up and down or the stressing for exams and studied the day before. I hope this poem teaches you not to. And remember, if you study way before time, then you are not so stressed in the exams. Thanks for watching, guys. Remember, if you've got any questions, you can follow me on Instagram at Afrikaans Classroom. Please subscribe to my channel for more videos, like and share.